I feel tempted to start this speech by saying, as I was saying 10 years ago in this place, but it feels fitting to be here tonight, and particularly to be with my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, because I remember very clearly at the conclusion of the second Hillsborough inquest how he worked with me as part of the Shadow Health team back then to draft the original bill that was presented to Parliament, and tonight is before this House. It does feel tonight like life is coming full circle, and as we pass this momentous piece of legislation, a piece of legislation that will change the way this country thinks and works about justice, it truly is a rewiring of the state and a passing of power from the authorities to the hands of ordinary people. Yeah. And it is happening because of the Prime Minister's commitment to a country based on justice and fairness, and we thank him for that. Yeah. He has honoured his commitment to the Hillsborough families, and what this House will do in passing this bill tonight is rebalancing the scales of justice so that we have justice for ordinary people going forward, and that, Madam Deputy Speaker, is some legacy indeed. Yeah. We have all recognised that we simply would not be here tonight were it not for the dignity and the determination of the Hillsborough families who are with us in this chamber this evening. They, supported by the wider group of campaigns as part of Hillsborough Law Now, I do want to recognise their lawyers, Pete Weatherby, KC, and Elkin Abrahamson, KC, who are with us this evening too. Inquest, Deborah Coles, who's with us as well, and all of the people who supported the campaign. This is the reason why we are here. But might I say also, we are here because of the City of Liverpool, represented so well by my honourable friend, the member for West Derby, who has been the parliamentary lead on this bill and has been entirely true to the people of his city, as has my friend Steve Rotherham, a former member of this House, Mayor of the Liverpool City region, who also carried forward this campaign to this point. I cannot describe my pride, Madam Deputy Speaker, in being in this House tonight to see this bill plant the values of the city of my birth at the heart of this country. And that is something of huge and profound significance that has been brought about by the Hillsborough families, and we recognise the significance of that tonight. As Steve Rotherham has said, the Hillsborough law can't do any more for the Hillsborough families. Indeed, it will do much more for those who come after them, but that's what makes their campaign so special. They've done this for others, not for themselves. Yeah. And those others include, and it's very important to remind the House of those other campaigns who we hope now will be lifted by this legislation as we pass it this evening. We do think, as the Prime Minister said, of the Grenfell survivors and families this evening, and I'm sure all London members will want to echo that, who are still waiting for justice and accountability over 9 years after the Grenfell fire. We think tonight of the Primados families who have fought so hard for fairness, supported by my honourable friend, the member for Bolton South East. West. I have been away for a while, but I'll get there in the end. But also, I know other members in this House have supported those who've suffered other treatment disasters, sodium valproate, mesh, PIP implants. These are still ongoing campaigns, and we need to recognise these campaigns in the House tonight, as we do the Chinook families, Madam Deputy Speaker, who were in court today, and I was only just speaking to the honourable member for Mid Dorset and Poole in the lobby, and we pay tribute to them this evening. But let's not forget also in this list, and I know they have support from across this House, the servicemen who served this country in the post-war period in the South Pacific, our nuclear test veterans, Madam Deputy Speaker. How often in this House do we praise our veterans, and how in this case have we left those veterans without truth and justice in terms of what happened to them all of those years ago? And I think this House needs to hear their call for a special tribunal, Madam Deputy Speaker, entirely consistent with the aims of the bill we are passing tonight. This bill advances all of these just causes, and the campaign for truth and justice does not stop here. Indeed, it accelerates from here. I hope it ends the cover-up culture that has failed so many ordinary people in this country. We can never forget that for 20 years, an entire English city was crying injustice correctly, and yet this place ignored them for all of that time. We cannot forget that, and we cannot take away the hurt that that caused. We cannot forget that postmasters and mistresses serving communities up and down this country were branded as petty thieves and carried that stigma with them for years. Likewise, those who were infected by infected blood and were blamed that they had brought it on themselves through their lifestyle. We can't forget that, Madam Deputy Speaker. And let's finish where I started, that the Liverpool supporters were blamed for harming their own fellow supporters at a football match. That is what was done. That was left to stand for all of those years. These families here tonight had to live with that for all of those years. Imagine what that must have felt like. We have had a situation in this country where people suffer the trauma of the initial bereavement, the incident that took their loved ones away. Then they are re-traumatised by the behaviour of the state. We can't take that hurt away tonight, but we can put decency back at the heart of the British state, and that is what this bill does. And I finish again by praising the Prime Minister for making it happen, and this truly is his legacy. Thank you, Madam
Sir Edward Davey.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And can I begin by echoing the words of the Prime Minister and the Right Honourable Gentleman, the member for Makerfield, in paying tribute to the Hillsborough campaigners. Our whole country owes them a debt, and I want to speak about that. But I want to speak in the spirit of cross-party support and working, which this moment demands. And I want to pay tribute personally to the Prime Minister for the work he has done on this, having to overcome the difficulties we know with the security issues. And I also want to pay tribute, and I hope it's not the last time, to the Right Honourable Gentleman, the member for Makerfield. He's welcome back in this House. He has, for many years, played a very personal role in this campaign, and so it's very fitting that he's in this House tonight to see this law passed. And I want to echo those tributes that he and others will no doubt make, because people have campaigned for many years for this moment. And that enormous debt of gratitude that we owe them for their courage, their tenacity and their determination is one that I hope this historic moment gives proper credit to. But let's remember, as others have said, that it's not just the Hillsborough scandal. It's Grenfell, it's Windrush, it's Horizon, it's Orgreave, it's Infector Blood, it's COVID, it's the nuclear test veterans, and indeed other scandals that were mentioned. Primados, the Right Honourable Gentleman was right to add that to the list. I hope, by the way, that when he takes an office, which we're expecting him to take soon, that he will put right those scandals, and we will hold him to that in a cross-party manner. But there are many tragedies and scandals that have been compounded by state cover-ups. And this is an issue of rights between the state and individuals. Victims, survivors and families having to fight for years or even decades just to expose the truth and win the justice they should have had straight away. All too often, Madam Deputy Speaker, when things have gone wrong, we have seen a tendency to cover up mistakes, to close ranks, to protect institutions, and so often to lie. Victims and families have spent years campaigning tirelessly against a system and an establishment that's tried to find countless ways of saying no. Thanks to those campaigners, we now take a big step closer to ending that culture of cover-up, ensuring that no one has to fight so long and so painfully to get truth, justice and accountability. There is more to do, not just on the individual scandals, but on the need to protect whistleblowers, something that this party has raised, and we want to work cross-party with the government to make sure we set up an independent office of the whistleblowers so people come forward to expose these scandals to make sure justice happens more quickly. Yeah. Many of the people who will benefit from this law will not recognise, will not even know how hard and how painfully hard the campaigners have had to work over so many years. It's important that we remember that, because it is truly remarkable, having suffered so much pain and injustice, that they kept going. And what has been achieved in this bill is something that will change the very nature of power in our country, and it will make so many people's lives better. So can I thank the campaigners and say to them from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Yeah. The question is that the bill be now read the third time. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Yeah. I will allow a small pause for those who wish to leave the chamber to do so, and for the front benches to switch over.